Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock, for the last time, the riddles inside Goblet of Fire, Chapter 37, The Beginning.
The beginning.
The beginning.
Of the end.
Yes, which is also the end of Goblet of Fire.
You know, it's actually really funny because there's going to be a line during Dumbledore's speech to the entire, to the Great Hall, where he will begin the speech by saying, the end.
Yes. Where the beginning of his is the end and the end of this book is the beginning.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. So I was sort of like, is there a world where you would title, like, it would be so ominous to make this chapter the end.
Right.
Because it's sort of like, well, it's like that makes it seem like nothing good is coming.
I feel like when Dumbledore says that, he's saying the end, and then he goes on to be like, the end of another year at Hogwarts or something.
That's exactly.
But it's like, to me, it's like when Dumbledore says the end, that is like, all right, that is the end of Harry Potter Part 1. You know, like the end of Harry's introduction into the wizarding world. From this point forward, we have started the battle against Voldemort.
Yes. Yeah. Like everything has, everything has been like so central. And I said this at the beginning of this book, but like Goblet represents such a unique cross section, I think, of the kinds of Harry Potter books that we get, where like books 1 through 3 and most of 4 are all about like the immersive world building and kind of like getting to know how magic works and setting particular precedents. And, you sort of know like all the small scale rivalries, but like a lot of it feels like who's going to win on the Quidditch pitch. And like, Voldemort has been there, but he's never truly been there.
Right.
It's like he's in the back of Quirrell's head at the beginning of 1, and then he's like a shadow of himself through the diary in book 2. Yeah. And it's like now he's back, like in the flesh, for real. Like the protections are gone, like you know what's going on. Harry knows what's going on. Like it's now we're deep in it.
Yeah. We're deep in it. Yeah.
So anyway, the end of Part 1, the beginning of Part 2. Hope you've got your snacks. Hope the intermission went well, because we're it's about to really start going off the rails.
Yeah,
here.
it is.
That being said, though, before we dive on into the beginning, we of course have to talk about the chapter art.
We sure do. In this chapter art, we have got Rita Skeeter in beetle form.
Yes, and I do love that you can actually see like the little glasses kind of like drawn onto the beetle's face there. So it's kind of like okay. But I could see without context, if you turned the page after everything that's been happening and you're like, the chapter art for the last chapter in the book is a picture of a bug.
I know. Like I like the artwork. I like how it like clearly looks like Rita Skeeter as a beetle. It does like answer a book-long mystery we've been trying to solve, which is, how is Rita Skeeter listening into these conversations? So I like all of that, but I just feel like it is an odd image to choose for, a chapter as ominous and interestingly sounding as the beginning, which is the last chapter of a book,
Exactly. Like, I feel like you could have had like Dumbledore standing at like a podium before the Great Hall.
Yeah, like raising a goblet or,
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Like a raised goblet would be such a good one.
Yeah.
Or even just like black drapes. I know that would be kind of like simple. But yeah, it really is. It's kind of like, well, okay. Like it almost makes you wonder whether or not like when the book was being written, like different sketches were being made, and it was sort of like, well, I really like this one and I want to use it.
I know.
Somewhere. But where?
But where?
But it's like, do we use it for the last chapter?
You really can't use it anywhere except the last chapter, because that'd give it away.
Yeah, so it's not bad. It's not a bad drawing. It's not a bad piece of chapter art. Even it just seems like an unusual choice for such a momentous occasion.
I know. Such a big launching point for the rest of the series. But
yes,
whatever. All right, there you go. That's the chapter art. Anyway, Rita Skeeter.
Yeah,
hooray.
we're covered.
She has an interesting chapter for sure.
She does.
Yes. So then this is the way this chapter starts. We'll go ahead and do it. It says, when he looked back, even a month later, Harry found he had only scattered memory of the next few days. And then the dragons arrived. It really doesn't work as well this time around.
I was going to say, this was like maybe like the first time that I was ever like, it has been, and it's so funny too, because I was telling Alice all about how like I think it would be fun when we go on tour to have like shirts that say, and then the dragons arrived, as like a cool piece of like tour merch or something. And I was like, and she's like, I don't understand. What does it mean? And I was like, well, so it's this thing like where you like can like read the first chapter of basically like, any, or the first sentence of like any chapter of any book, and then just add, and then the dragons arrived, and it's like, and it's amazing because like it works every single time. And I must have said this like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And then I got to this one, I was like, oh,
It doesn't really work.
yeah. It's like, it would be so unfortunate if Harry had gone through everything he went through, and then randomly he's just sort of like, I couldn't really think. My brain couldn't fit even one more thought. And then dragons arrived.
I know, right. Yeah. I mean, even if you do the next sentences, it was as though he had been through too much to take in anymore. And then the dragons arrived. Like, that sounds better. It's like, I can't do it anything else. Are you kidding me?
I can't. I'm not prepared. Just take me with you.
But even that first sentence is a very interesting sentence, because it says, when he looked back, even a month later, Harry. So it's like, it is giving you the perspective of Harry a few months from now. Like it's giving you future Harry's opinion on the moment.
Right.
Like, like we haven't gotten to future Harry yet, but we know what he feels about these moments now.
In that way, it's like when you think about it, it actually is kind of like a hard sentiment to depict the way that it's attempting to, at least, because it's basically just sort of saying that like Harry was in a haze.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that would feel, saying like Harry was in a haze over the next few days, it's like, that's an understatement.
Right.
It's like, that's not like a correct way to signify what he's going through. But then I think plenty of us can remember instances in our life when something, major happened, and you do sort of go through that period of time where it's just sort of like, all the noise, all the other everything just sort of like goes away, and you're just like in tunnel vision on like this one thing or the opposite. And it's like, you just can't think about anything.
Right.
And so it's like, I understand the sentiment so well, but you're right. It's strange that it's not a month plus later, I don't think. Right?
No, I don't think it's a month plus later happening. This is like the next day, I think, or at least the start of it. I don't think it's been a month, because the task took place, at the end of the school year.
Yeah, and it says, like just on the very next page, Harry returned to Gryffindor Tower the following evening. And from what Hermione and Ron had told him, Dumbledore had spoken to the school that morning at breakfast. And it's like, I think that Harry has not like been in the hospital wing, as far as we know, for some extraordinary amount of time.
No, I think it's really just the next day.
Right.
Yeah. So he's saying, like, let's move on here. The worst perhaps was the meeting with the Diggories that took place the following morning. And it's like, I can only imagine. That would just be so tragic.
It really would be, yeah. So Harry, basically, if you're keeping track now, has basically come back from the maze to discover that one of his most trusted allies, Mad Eye Moody, is actually, in fact, an undercover agent for Voldemort. And the reason for every single thing that has happened to him over the course of this entire year is singularly because of him.
Yeah.
And then he has had to progress to telling his story to Dumbledore and Sirius.
Yep.
And then had to go through the entire situation with Fudge.
Yep. The entire Minister of Magic.
Yeah. And then have a sleeping draft, wake up, and then talk to the parents of the person he witnessed die yesterday.
Yeah. It's been a very, very long day for Harry here.
The 14-year-old.
The 14-year-old, yeah. And let's pay very close attention to the next sentence where it says, they did not blame him for what had happened, because there's like an entire Broadway play that contradicts that. if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think when you're speaking of the cursed child, Delphi is using the Imperious curse on Amos Diggory.
Oh, is she?
She is.
Okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't blame Harry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Never mind. I take it back.
But I do follow your meaning,
Yes.
where it's like the whole premise is basically the Diggorys being like, that Harry Potter.
If you hadn't let Cedric die.
Exactly. But I do really like, especially what we get in this like very brief segment, because we spent a lot of time with Amos and almost no time with Mrs. Diggory.
Yeah.
And it feels like almost beyond a shadow of a doubt, Cedric is getting all of his extreme goodness from his mother.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it seems like she is like doing the remarkable thing, which I think is being in some ways comforting towards Harry, which I think that there is an honest gratitude, in terms of Harry having like put himself at risk to return Cedric's body to them.
Yeah.
So like I think that there's that, but it's an extraordinary demonstration of character, which is exactly what I think we always said about Cedric and like, vis-a-vis the Imperious curse and his ability to, essentially what we believe is withstand it in the same way that Harry can. I think that like she is so kind and she handles this exchange with Harry so well. Yeah,
she does. And even like the way she like is able to frame it in her mind, I think is really good. And the way like Harry lets her frame it in her mind, where she says, he suffered very little then, she said. And after all, Amos, he died just when he'd won the tournament. He must have been happy. And it's like Harry could correct her and be like, we actually had no idea what was going on. And then like, we were pretty scared. This guy came out of nowhere,
right.
Like we weren't sure who'd won,
we had our wands out. It was terrifying.
It was like, are we in a graveyard? Is this supposed to happen? Dead. Ugh.
Yeah.
So like, but it's like, like she's trying to make herself feel like the slightest bit better about the situation. Like he must have died happy because he'd won doing something he wanted to do. And it's like, Harry just lets her have that.
Yes. And I mean, and I do think that that's a rather gracious way too. It's like that probably brings an amount of comfort.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then of course he tries to offer them the money, the 1,000 galleon prize. Trying to say like, he even got there first, like we agreed to take it. And of course she's like, oh no, I couldn't take it. And it's like you can tell that both Harry and the Diggorys are kind of like, I can't keep this money. I don't want that money. That would be like cursed money or something, It's like
I literally wrote the exact same note. Like I just wonder, like, I mean, as much as I think that this could be interpreted as generosity, which I don't think there's anything selfish about the exchange, but I think it's like, are the Diggorys on the exact same page as Harry in this? Like in terms of there's like neither of them wants it for the same reason.
Absolutely. Yes,
okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't spend that money. That would be like, just like we got a reward for our son dying or something.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, that's so, it's just
right. But Harry's in the same way. He's like, I can't keep this. Right. It shouldn't be mine, like it at the very least should be split or something. Yeah. And they're like, nope, it's yours. So it seems like neither party wants it for the same reason. It's like you couldn't spend it without being like someone had to die for whatever I bought for this or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. And so I think even then when you ultimately get to the situation and the way that the galleons are handed over to Fred and George, it's like even Harry's recognition that the world could use a reason to laugh. And it's sort of like, what a great legacy.
Cedric's death, you mean?
Oh no.
Harry gets it. We were being so noble there for like 10 minutes.
We were people are like, okay, the guys finally got it together. Like they're finally not being jerks. Wow. Oh man, I know. The tone you just shifted gears so perfectly, which actually I think is kind of wonderful because it does then also say that when Harry returned to Gryffindor Tower the following evening, Ron and Hermione lets him know that Dumbledore had spoken to the school that morning at breakfast and merely requested that they leave Harry alone and that nobody ask him questions or, get this, badger, which I would just say too soon. Too soon, man. Dumbledore.
I like to think he winked when he said it. Nobody question or badger, Harry.
Everybody's like nudging themselves.
We got it.
I understood that reference.
I understood that reference because Cedric was.
He was a Hufflepuff, and there's badgers. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry guys, but we are really not doing a great job of good people here. But let's see here. Most people, Harry noticed, were skirting him in the corridors, avoiding his eyes. Some whispered behind their hands as he passed. Like, I don't know when the students of Hogwarts are going to get bored of this pastime, because they do it about Harry always.
They never get bored of it. Not at all. And it's like, it is good probably for Harry that people aren't coming up and questioning him. But like the end result is that like next year, because Harry is not able to tell anybody himself, like his personal account, like a lot of people still don't believe him. It's
true.
like, even that's why so many people show up to the DA meeting. They're like, well, what happened though?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's sort of like, and that's exactly what's going to be in the Hog's head, is like Harry sitting there and he's kind of like blown away at how many people came out. And then all of a sudden the gears click into place when I think is it Zachariah Smith who asks, and Harry's sort of like, now I understand why you're all here. It's not that you're interested. You just want to hear my story.
And he's like, well, if that's why you're here, then get out.
Exactly. Yep. But yeah, so then it goes on to say that he guessed that many of them had believed Rita Skeeter's article about how disturbed and possibly dangerous he was.
What a devastating article.
I know. It's like, I mean, even Rita Skeeter, I have to think would have a measure of guilt over that one.
Like, oops.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Too bad somebody won't let her speak for a year.
Yeah. Well, they do. You know, they work something out.
They work something out. We'll come to that in due course. But it basically what he assumes next is basically correct. Perhaps they were formulating their own theories about how Cedric had died. We're going to have a bit of that, although Dumbledore will take efforts to try to clarify at the end of year feast, but more on that as well in just a few minutes. Let's see here. Then we see that Harry, Ron, and Hermione basically, it seems like, have all just sort of got this like unspoken, like almost like they've been through so much crap at this point in time that they sort of like have a protocol.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we don't really need to like sit here and like hash all these details out. Like, we don't know what's coming next. We don't know what to plan for. Like, let's just sort of let Harry sit quietly with his thoughts. We'll play chess and pass the time. And when things come, they'll come.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's exactly what Hagrid's going to say to him when they go visit him later on as well.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. But let's see. Then we also find out that Mrs. Weasley went to Dumbledore to see if she could, if Harry could come straight to them this summer. Like, you know, maybe he doesn't have to go back to those terrible Muggles. We'd be happy to see him the whole time. It's clearly, you know. And Dumbledore is like, I do think he needs to go back to the Dursleys. And Harry's like, what? Mrs. Weasley went there on my behalf, and he still said no.
It is. I mean, that's the kind of thing where it's like, that is shocking.
That is shocking.
That is almost like if you're Harry, it's like, Hey, Dumbledore, I need to pull your side. Why?
Why? Also, is that really your call? Is it your call? Is it your call?
Yeah.
Because I accept.
Yes, I volunteer as tribute.
I volunteer as tribute. Yeah, I know. Even when you frame it like that, it's like, of course, Mrs. Weasley had to ask Dumbledore. And it's like, but why? But why did you have to ask Dumbledore? Why didn't you just have to ask the Dursleys?
Exactly. Yeah. And it seems like if you went and asked the Dursleys would be like, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, please take him.
Right. Although
get him out of here.
We saw that whole thing at the beginning of this very book when they get the invitation for the Quidditch World Cup, and Vernon can't decide between something that would make Harry happy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So it'd be the same thing. But of course, the real reason Dumbledore doesn't want Harry to go straight to the Weasleys is because if he's at the Dursleys, then he's protected by the Bond of Blood charm, which stops Voldemort from seeing him or like getting to him at all while he's inside the Dursleys' home.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I think at this point in time, and probably more now than ever before, like, because I think Dumbledore and Hagrid both seem to have sort of like the right measure of Voldemort, which is that he was going to come back. Like, he wasn't gone for good.
Yeah.
And so it's like, while Dumbledore may have valued an importance on Harry going back to the Dursleys this whole time, it's like now it's really important.
Yes.
Because otherwise there's almost no reason why Voldemort just doesn't go and continue to try and mount attack after attack after attack on Harry as quickly as he can.
As quickly as he can. Yeah, absolutely.
But he won't be able to.
But he won't be able to. And basically, Dumbledore does allow Harry to come stay, well, not even at the Weasleys, but at the Order of the Phoenix, once they're kind of like set up and established and have a new safe house for him to come to.
Right. But then that's protected by the Fidelius charm, where Dumbledore himself is the secret keeper. Right. That's basically like the most gold standard version of
exactly,
you know, and any kind of protection you can have other than the Bond of Blood.
Okay. And then I feel like there's like a mistake here where it says, as there was no longer defense against the dark arts teacher, they had those lessons free. And I'm like, do they still have lessons now? right? Because weren't they taking exams before? Because it kept saying like, what are you going to do during the exam? Just sit in the back and read books?
You're right.
Right? Like what they don't have lessons anymore, right?
I know, right. Yeah. What are they doing? Like rolling in the old movie cart?
Yeah, right. Like got that VCR and the full screen TV.
That's it. No, that's a very good point. Yeah, because there's not really any, and it's even strange because it seems like we're going out of our way to try to create a scenario where they might have an afternoon to go and visit Hagrid. It's basically like, well, because there was no defense against the dark arts, now they had a chance to visit Hagrid. And it's like,
they just have this whole week off, right?
They could just go.
They could just go do that.
They could just go. Even if they had classes, they visit Hagrid sometimes. It's like, we don't really need to invent a reason.
I know. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's a little bit of an error. Unless there's something to be said for like you take the exams and then still have classes to like go over them.
I don't know. That is never mentioned anywhere else. Yeah. And it just seems like usually there's like this 1 week grace period where it's like exams have been taken and there's still a week before the train comes, which must be the best week of the year.
Dude, I was going to say, like, if I was like, when I was a kid, the idea of going away to like a boarding school or something, I guess that's effectively what these things are, right?
Yeah.
Terrified me.
Yeah.
Like the idea of being away from like home, my family, my parents, my friends, my room, like all those things scared me to death. But the idea of being like a young teenager who doesn't have any responsibilities for 1 week while you're still in the environment where all of your like friends exist sounds so fun.
Yeah, right.
Like I bet there's there'd be no reason for there not to be like an end of year dance or something. Or
there probably should be.
Yeah, like a party.
Yes, partay.
I mean, maybe not given,
this year,
given specific circumstances and how that. But anyway, so they make their way down to Hagrid's. Hagrid's like, who's that? Harry.
Nice, solid Hagrid over there.
Yeah, was that okay?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Thanks.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
Hey, good Hagrid.
Thank
Man.
you. Yeah,
well done. They saw 2 bucket-sized cups and saucers on the wooden table in front of the fireplace.
Bucket-sized.
Yeah. So do you figure whenever they go and like make tea at Hagrid's, they're making like a just absolutely comically large kettle, and it's because Hagrid's drinking like a gallon?
I mean, earlier in the book, he ordered 4 pints of mulled mead.
That's
at
true.
the bar.
Yeah.
So the man, I mean, he's a big guy,
Right. Yeah. If I had 4 pints of mulled mead, I'd probably be out of commission for 3 days.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
If I had 4, especially mead. Yeah.
I know, mead is like honey
so
turned into
sugary.
alcohol.
Yeah, it's like just honey wine, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it says, been having a cuppa with a limp. She just left.
Everyone's like, who?
Madam Maxine, of course.
Yeah. You two made up, have you?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, massive eye roll.
Yeah. Big bones. Wasn't that a whole thing?
Yeah. I'll show her big bones. Yeah. It says, when he made tea and offered him around a plate of doughy cookies, which for once sounds like good Hagrid baking, but I just love that Hagrid loves baking. Like he's constantly making just baked goods.
Right.
Not always good ones.
Not always good ones, but he's just like always at it. You know? And there's something like inherently joyous about baking.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think it's like trying to say like bubbles like in an angry voice. Where
right.
It's like bubbles. Sorry.
Bubbles.
It just seems funny.
You can't do it.
You can't do it. It's like you can't be that mad while you're baking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, Hagrid is a guy who like his job is kind of like free time, like he has responsibilities for sure that he has to do, but a lot of it's just like get your stuff done,
Right.
And so it's like when he has this is what he uses with his free time.
Yeah, exactly.
Is baking cookies.
Right. So Hagrid is sort of like, okay, got all my tasks done, dragged all the Christmas trees up to the castle for the holidays. Time to go back and bake some yummies.
I know, especially when you figure you can just go to any given day at the in the Great Hall and just pick up probably as many cookies as you want.
Probably as many as you want.
Yeah.
Then the next exchange, though, is actually something that it's an exchange that I almost wish happened more often in real life.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's like it's equal parts presumptuous, but also a scenario where like a good friend just understands you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's like something that like it's almost like I think we as friends should try to like aim to be like a little bit more step over the line in the name of like demonstrating how we do understand our friends.
Right.
So this is it. It says, "You all right?" he said gruffly. "Yeah," said Harry. "No, you're not," said Hagrid. course you're not, but you will be.
Right.
And it's like, can you imagine like going through something and, like whatever, your friend walks up and it's like, hey, like, how you doing? It's like, I'm good. It's like, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not good. Like,
yeah.
Nobody says things like that.
I know. It's like, it's like you want to like, try and validate them and not like be too nosy or be too presumptuous. You're right. And it's like, sometimes it's just like, I care enough about you to tell you that like, you know what, let me go ahead and validate the feelings you refuse to admit to. Like,
exactly.
You don't have to put on a strong face for me, buddy.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just, I don't know. I like that exchange.
Yes. But yeah, so do I.
Yeah. So, but then it hails back to the sentiment I kind of expressed earlier, which is just that like Hagrid's kind of reinforcing, like, I knew he was going to come back. And I think he brings it up in the first conversation about Voldemort with Harry.
I literally wrote down. He said he did tell Harry something like this back in book 1, where he's like, he says like, some people think he's out there biding his time or think he's dead. And he says, Codswallop, in my opinion. Yeah. Don't know if he had enough human left in him to die. Which just ends up being extremely wise words, because that's very true. That is literally the truth. He does not have enough human left in him to die. Even at the end, when he dies, he does not die a human death. He gets like stuck in limbo at the end.
Forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ron and Hermione looked at him shocked. Known it for years, Harry. Knew he was out there biding his time. Yeah, there it is again. Yeah. It had to happen. Well, now it has. We'll just have to get on with it. We'll fight. Might be able to stop him before he gets a good hold. That's Dumbledore's plan anyway. Great man, Dumbledore. So long as we've got him, I'm not too worried.
Oh, there's some foreshadowing right there.
I know.
Or foreboding, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I don't even know if we can quite cross the line into foreshadowing, because it's just like, it's like one of those where it's like, that even gives you a sentiment where it's kind of like we even the reader, for all of Order of the Phoenix and for most of Half-Blood Prince, it's like we still have Dumbledore.
Right.
We still have Dumbledore. As long as we have Dumbledore, it's like, what can he really do to us?
Right.
And then it's like, oh, we don't have Dumbledore anymore.
Oh no, we don't have Dumbledore anymore.
It's like,
and it's like, yeah, as long as I got him, I'm not too worried. But like ultimately though, what it comes down to, as long as we've got Harry, I'm not too worried,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yep. But he's got like an interesting sentiment as well, which is like, no good sitting worrying about it. He said, what'll come will come, and we'll meet it when it does.
Oh, just like words to live by, It's like you can sit here and like worry and worry and worry, or you can just kind of accept that like, yeah, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and it's what you do about it that matters.
And it's fascinating because it actually reminds me so much of another fellow beast lover from the Harry Potter universe, Newt Scamander's line, where he's like, in my opinion, worrying just means you suffer twice.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly it.
I've always loved that expression too, because it is true. It's sort of like, you can worry as much as you want, but like while you're worrying, you're just worrying.
Right.
And then
I wonder if like it makes sense that comes from two guys who like really love beasts, because like typically animals aren't creatures that spend much time like worrying. They're not like capable of anxiety,
Right.
In the way that humans are. It's like, yeah, whatever happens, and you just got to deal with it. And like they're sitting there studying these animals they love all the time, and it's like, yeah, they're just worried about what's happening next. How are they going to feed themselves or whatever.
Right. Well, or I even wonder if there's any amount of this is like sort of the reality of operating with those beasts in particular, where it's like, you can worry that one of them is inevitably going to like bite you or, harm you in some way, breathe fire on you, but it's sort of like, that if it happens, then you treat the wound when it happens. But like, I'm not going to not interact with the beast in the meantime because I'm fascinated by
right.
them.
Like,
so
it's not good enough reason. So
right. Yeah. So it's like something bad might happen, but until it does, we're just going to keep going.
Exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, Hagrid having a great chapter here.
Yeah, he really does. And then he gives him another compliment and says, you did as much as your father would have done, and I can't give you no higher praise than that. And it's like, I really wish we had more information about the relationship that Hagrid and James Potter had, because like he is like constantly so complimentary of James and Lily, but they wouldn't have been like, I guess Hagrid would have been around as like the gamekeeper while he was there, but like I guess it would have been the Order of the Phoenix together. But we never see them interact in any way,
Yeah, we don't exactly know why Hagrid has such a positive affinity. Like, it seems like everyone loved Lily.
Yeah.
But like, James would have been like a bit of like a brash, mildly arrogant, if not very talented student during his time at school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like Snape hated him, but for the most part, despite that, he was still very popular.
Of course. Yeah. But like, so in that regard, though, you wouldn't necessarily think in the same way that like Harry has very specific reasons to like resonate with Hagrid, and even Hermione does in some capacity, where it's like they're very like outsider type characters. But like James isn't really like an outsider. Like he might not be seeking the companionship of sort of what I always sort of like affectionately refer to as like the island for misfit toys, where it's sort of like we don't fit anywhere. So, we're all just sort of coming together in the fact that we're like, we don't necessarily fit in somewhere else, but we fit in with each other.
I mean, James effectively gets to sort of live out the school existence that like Draco thought he was going to get to live out.
It's true.
He's the only child of a pure blood family. His parents absolutely shower him with whatever he wants. Right. He arrives at school. He's good at everything. He's got a gang of friends, and he can pick on people without any problems. He's a star Quidditch player. He
gets the girl.
Just like rides into the sunset, gets murdered by Voldemort.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. The other small note that I had here on this particular comment is that we talked about it a little bit with the reversal of the order that James and Lily come out of the Priori Incantatem spell.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like there's the whole evening Harry does keep thinking about like his father. And I think he says like, he was going to die the way his father had. And, like it keeps bringing that up. And then we know, of course, that the modification happens both for accuracy reasons, because Lily like would have, to get the correct order of deaths and everything.
Yeah.
But then also it's sort of like Lily's sacrifice is really the thing that brings about Voldemort's downfall. So this also feels like a slightly like leftover fragment where it's like where it could have said you did as much as your parents would have done, or your mother, or both.
Right.
I have a both is good comment.
Right. Yeah.
But either which way. So nothing to spend too much time being stuck on, because it's just a compliment, like, of extreme high praise. And that's the point. Harry does smile back at him, and it was the first time he had smiled in days. And this actually sparks him to be able to ask the question, like, what does Dumbledore ask you to do, Hagrid? He sent Professor McGonagall to ask you and Madame Maxime to meet him that night.
Yeah, and it seems like maybe they could guess based on the context clues of Dumbledore's like, get rid of the Dementors, send envoys to the Giants. Hagrid, Madame Maxime, have a job for you.
Right.
Hey, I wonder what it is. You think you're going to get rid of the Dementors? Or?
Hagrid cast a mean Patronus.
Yeah.
But y'all, we need to interrupt to take a brief pause to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Pair Eyewear. Look, if you've made it to chapter 37 in Goblet of Fire with us, then you pretty well know that Jay and I are all about the closer look when it comes to our favorite stories. And there's no better way to make sure that you're getting the best look than with a new pair of frames from Pair Eyewear. Both Jay and I have frames from Pair, and I can't even begin to express how wonderful the experience is from top to bottom. The digital try-on is a breeze and saved me from buying a set of frames that would have been too wide for my face. But the real fun has to be where the word pair enters the chat. It's a pairing between their sleek frames and the glorious toppers that can allow you to customize your look in a flash. Like, just check this. It's as easy as that. Pair has a huge collection of toppers from, if you're anything like us, brands you'll love. Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and so much more. So head on over to paireyewear.com and use code Griffin for 15% off your first pair, and support the show by mentioning that Through the Gryffindor sent you in your post-checkout survey. That's PAIR eyewear.com, code Griffin. Links in all the obvious spots. And now back to the episode. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. And this is actually one where it feels like a more mature reader, I think, versus my 5th grade self reading these books. I think probably would have been able to sort what their role was going to be. Yeah. But I remember as a kid having no idea. Just being like, oh, top secret mission. How fun. Mission.
Yeah, sure, we'll find out about that right away.
Right.
You won't. But
you won't, yeah.
Yeah, but they're just going to go, try and get the giants on Dumbledore's side. This is a task I cannot believe that Dumbledore wasn't working on, like, in the downtime.
Like he wasn't just like out there like trying to like make better relations with the giants.
Yes.
Yeah. It is surprising. It's surprising in so many ways. And like I think this is probably where like the wizarding populace during the particular time that we find them in is existing in such a strange situation, because it's like clearly like Grindelwald's whole regime was to like rise above the Muggles and take their rightful place as, you know, the top of the, like, I don't know, food chain seems like the wrong word, top of society.
Right.
You know, and then Voldemort's really is more just like inter-wizardry, where he just sort of like wants the wizard camps to be what they are and to rain terror on the Muggles as they see fit.
Right.
But otherwise, it's like the Statutes of Secrecy make sense because they're designed for the protection and safety of really everyone. It's like to prevent, it's almost like they know that they're going to be seen as different and that will result in persecution, which, you know, witch burnings effectively, you know, in the real world, in real world history.
Yeah.
Is things that happened. And people just being unsure about how to feel about things that they don't understand. But the end result here is that the whole wizarding world is, even with the best of intentions, is doing things in an odd way. Like they're forcing the giants out because they want them to be like separate from society, and Voldemort's offering is basically like, we will bring you forward and offer you like more, you know, whatever extent for your powers and abilities or whatever, which also seems shocking for Voldemort to not have prejudice towards the giants.
I mean, as far as he's concerned, they're just like pawns. They're just tools.
They're just soldiers.
Use, you know, just soldiers. And he's like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. And he's like, but I mean, that's not true. If they did stuff that he didn't like, he would just, you know, either kill them or treat them bad or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all just manipulated. It's not like Voldemort has a point. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just, it is strange that the wizarding populace has kind of just like forced them to the outskirts.
Yeah. Let's see. Then they're almost on him right away, and it's like, he says, "Is it to do with Voldemort?" And he goes, "Might be." It's like, you're so bad at secrets, man. But he does do a quick topic change. He's like, "Now, who'd like to come visit the last of the Scroots with me?" Only joking. Yeah, okay. Before I just go ahead and tell you, let's just change the subject here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get a little page break here, and it says, it was with a heavy heart that Harry packed his trunk for the up in the dormitory on the night before his return to Privet Drive, which like the thing that you have to like get inside of Harry's head here a little bit, but it's like, imagine going through everything you just went through, the imminent danger that lies ahead for the world as you know it, and the fact that you were about to go back to a house where no one is going to greet you with any empathy, any sympathy, anything.
Right.
Like, they don't want to know, they don't want to listen, they're not going to listen. Harry knows better than to even try to tell them.
Right.
You know, like what's going on. And that means that he's about to have to just go and be like, you understand why he's so frustrated in Order of the Phoenix, because he's about to go be so isolated.
I know, like the worst thing in the world just happened. He's the one who told everyone about it. No one believes him, and he gets sent to go deal with people who don't care and who just like don't like him for existing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a miserable thought to think about that. That's basically like the shadowy existence he's just about to have to go and deal with.
Yeah.
So then it says that he was dreading the leaving feast, which usually was a cause for celebration when the winner of the Inter-House Championship would be announced. This doesn't happen.
I don't think they announce there's no like House Cup awarded, or at least if it is, it's not on page.
It's not on page. So do we know canonically, like, this is like a trivia question where it's like, how many, you know, house championships does Gryffindor win when Harry's there? It's like, do they win in year 4?
Do they win in year 4? It always, like, to me, it feels like Hufflepuff should win. You know?
It does feel that way. 1,000 points to Cedric Diggory for being awesome.
Exactly. What are the points here? Yeah, Hufflepuff wins.
It's like, Harry, you agree with this, right? You're good?
You're good? You're good.
Harry throws a Dumbledore and you get a little, like, you know, half moon spectacle wink.
Yeah. That's it. Like, to me, like, Hufflepuff should win. I don't know if we know canonically who wins this year or not. But I feel like this sentence also just like, is also there to like show you the sharp contrast between like how things have changed from book 1 to book 4.
Yes.
Where it's like, in fact, that is how it is at the end of year 1. It's like this big celebration. Gryffindor wins. Hooray. Slytherin's defeated. The house championship was the most important thing I cared about. Now it's
exactly.
like, how we have left that sentiment in the dust, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Like it's the dunk at the end of Philosopher's Stone is Gryffindor winning.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, oh yeah. Like,
right.
What could be better?
Right. Now here, Harry has won an even bigger competition, and it is like not what he even cares about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But then, of course, what ends up happening is that when they enter the Great Hall, they see the usual decorations were missing. Usually it's decorated with the winning house's colors for the leaving feast, but this time there were black drapes on the wall behind even the teacher's table, and Harry knew instantly that they were there as a mark of respect to Cedric.
Good touch. Good touch.
Yep. Now the real Mad-Eye Moody is at the staff table, which I find to be kind of odd, unless he's just sort of like staying there because he's not healthy enough to like travel home.
I guess so, but it's not like people are like, oh yeah, there's Professor Moody. Good to see you, sir.
Right.
Great year.
Great year. We loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they paid him.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Handsomely.
Dumbledore shows up and he's like, now listen, I know you've been through a lot, Alastor. However, I think you would agree with me that you didn't do a whole lot of teaching.
Didn't really do any work.
It's like, I brought this bag of gold to like demonstrate to you, ching, ching, ching. You see it, right? Like you've like, there's change jingling about in here.
Yeah.
You will not be having this.
Right, yeah. Like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know that Barty Crouch Jr. was not him, wasn't you. So I've just been paying him the whole time, and like I that was how the budget went, and I don't have the money to pay you, so I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Thanks. You want to come to the last feast? I can pay you for if you want to like come to the feast. That we'll count that.
We'll count that. You get a free meal.
Your free meal, and like 1 hour's worth of galleons. How's that sound? Anyway, and it's like, extremely twitchy. And it's like, I bet.
Yeah.
Harry couldn't blame him. Moody's fear of attack was bound to have been increased by his 10-month imprisonment in his own truck. And it's like, you don't say. This person is traumatized forever.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever going to be the same. He already wasn't the same. Yeah. Now it's just, even worse. Professor Karkaroff's chair was empty, obviously, since he has run away. Harry does wonder to himself where Karkaroff was now and whether Voldemort had ever caught up with him.
I don't think quite yet, but quite soon.
Yes. And I think it takes about a year.
Oh, does it?
I think it's about a year. I think it's the beginning of, before Harry's 16th birthday, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the summer of 96, and we're in the summer. No.
Oh, does he talk about it with like Slughorn? Is that what it is?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so he will make it for a while, but so he's not been caught quite yet.
Yeah, not yet. But he is eventually killed by either Voldemort or the Death Eaters.
Right.
Yes.
Go for it.
Then we see Harry makes some light eye contact with Snape. It says his eyes lingered on Harry for a moment as Harry looked at him. His expression was difficult to read, which is sort of Snape's whole thing.
Yes.
Excuse me. He looked sour and unpleasant as ever. Harry continued to watch him long after Snape had looked away. And it's like, for Snape, this is a really interesting time period because he kind of agreed to do whatever Dumbledore said right as the First War kind of ended. So now he's like finally going to have to be put to the test for like the fight for Lily's death like starts now,
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So I actually really like the line that says his expression was difficult to read because like you have to imagine that Snape inside of this moment is basically like toggling through multitudes because he has already gone and spoken to Voldemort.
Right.
So like even for him, it's like this person is like back proper. And now he's about to have to walk the incredibly difficult line of being a double agent. Like he needs the main, like it's not all pure pettiness anymore. It's not just James Potter's son. It's like now there's like other reason for the facade to include maybe like a hatred towards Harry. But it's also backed up by an amount of real hatred towards Harry. But also everything he's doing is to protect Harry.
Yeah. You know what? So we were talking about like how Rita what if she wrote the article that she'd overheard? How would that have affected things? And I feel like one of the things that would have been a big deal is that she would have reported that Snape revealed the dark mark to Cornelius Fudge and told him word for word, this is how it works or whatever. Right. And I feel like if she'd reported that, that would have been it for Snape being a spy.
Yeah.
If that had gotten out there, Voldemort's not going to be I don't think he can talk his way out of that, Or can't help but notice you told the minister I was back, Snape,
hey, listen, not cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No one even knew about the dark marks. So now they all know how they work.
Right.
Come on, bro.
My secret method.
Yeah.
I think you're right, because I want to say that when the Death Eaters scene is happening and he's walking through all the empty positions, I'm pretty sure he describes the space where Snape should be and says he will pay.
Yeah, he's there's someone I believe who has left me forever. He will pay. And it's he believes that about Snape in that moment, but then Snape's able to convince him otherwise.
Yeah, and it's basically the explanation he will eventually give to Bellatrix and Narcissa at Spinner's End at the beginning of Half-Blood Prince, where he's basically I went to him and basically told him that I had renounced his ways, but also now I was very uniquely positioned in Dumbledore's camp and I could trade information. So my bad for not necessarily being there for you, but also look, I'm in a good spot.
I'm back.
Let's use that. I'm here now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he's lying to him, but
yes, he is.
Yeah.
And then it's Harry continues to wonder why was Dumbledore so convinced that Snape was truly on their side? And I'm to me, it's I'm surprised that Snape showing Fudge the dark mark didn't resonate more with Harry either.
Yeah.
That's a real look, he's back. You're not listening to us.
Right. That's even Snape's cutting through all the crap for once and not letting all the immaturity of his jealousy, his mourning, whatever Snape seems to be going through to cloud his judgment so horrifically all the time. Yeah, you're right. It's he actually goes to the length to just be I'm showing you the dark mark.
Right.
I have revealed to you an obvious reason. That is a moment where Snape is decidedly on the same side.
Exactly. That's such an obvious, concrete, tactile thing that Fudge decides not to see. And then Harry just sort of also decides to be well, what, that didn't count.
Well, I know. And so it's always interesting. And I've asked this question a few times as we've been going through the story, but I imagine if we were theorizing with the kind of knowledge that we have about how to theory craft now, the importance of precedent, the importance of individual moments, I think if we were writing theories about Goblet of Fire going into Order of the Phoenix, we'd be but he showed Fudge the dark mark.
Right.
It'd be it's so hard to ignore that he did that.
Right. And then he showed up in the faux glass.
Yes. Yeah. It's there are certain things that happened and it's either the book isn't that well written or this matters.
Right.
And it's and so often when that ends up being the case, it's it matters.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. So yeah, it's they're as much as it feels sometimes it's just you please just tell me what's up with Snape. It's we're getting little tidbits.
Little bits. Yeah. Of course, that's one of the biggest mysteries of the whole series. So
Yeah,
of course you're not going to find out.
Right.
And then Harry wonders correctly if Snape is acting as spy again. It's is that the job he'd taken up again? Which, yes, duh, that's what he'd done. But as ever, just, good instincts by Harry that he's able to just sort of guess immediately what Snape is doing.
Yep. Absolutely. So then Dumbledore stands before everybody in the Great Hall, and he does lead with that, "The end," said Dumbledore, looking around at all of them. "Of another year."
Yes.
And it's okay. I think this is just a cool literary sentence because I love your description. That's the end of, part one.
Right.
Yeah.
Intermission. Yeah. Come back after break.
Go get your popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He paused and his eyes fell upon the Hufflepuff table. Theirs had been the most subdued table as he had gotten to his feet, and theirs was still the saddest and palest faces in the hall. So then Dumbledore does go on to acknowledge the loss of a very fine person who should be sitting here. "I would like you all to please stand and raise your glasses to Cedric Diggory."
Yes, and it says they did it, all of them, which means that even the Slytherins stood up to toast Cedric's death.
Yes, exactly. Which
or
is
Cedric's memory, I guess.
Right. Yeah, Cedric's memory. So Dumbledore finally gets to have a drink with someone.
Yes. Well, sort of. You know, he has to make everyone do it.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I had to just throw.
Yeah, of course.
Just a small joke. They did it, all of them. I do like that though, because it's like, you know, like I guess one way or another, even the Slytherins are sort of like, okay, yeah, Cedric was a pretty good guy. It's like we can't deny anybody that. I mean,
right.
Like, we don't like Harry. He beat us at Quidditch after all, but like you know, Cedric. I mean, he's fine.
Right. Like Draco is like, I guess I have been wearing this like support Cedric Diggory, the real Hogwarts champion badge the whole year. I guess I did make these,
and I guess I have been drawing pictures of me and him running off into the sunset into the margins of all of my pages for the whole year. So yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'll do
Fine,
it.
I'll
do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Harry catches a glimpse of Cho through the crowd. There were tears pouring silently down her face.
Where they will remain.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You can only imagine that for Cho. That's just, it's got to be so difficult to have just, you know, I mean, it's so difficult for everybody. It's just scary.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Dumbledore just kind of describes Frederick, loyal friend, hard worker, valued fair play, all very true things about him. And then Dumbledore drops the bomb that the Ministry is so hoping he won't, where he says, Cedric Diggory was murdered by Lord Voldemort. Like, boom, in no uncertain terms.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Harry be like, it was really technically Peter Pettigrew. He's the one who cast the spell.
Technically-
Voldemort's wand, Voldemort's orders. Peter held the wand. You guys know Peter Pettigrew? Okay. Remember Sirius Black?
Dumbledore, I should probably just come up
Let me get up there. Let me get up there.
Yes. Yeah. This is actually one of the scenes in the movies that I really like Michael Gambon's performance on. He does go very hard with his delivery of Cedric Diggory was murdered. When he does it, but he also describes Cedric as a fierce friend, which is not a kind, like fierceness is not a word commonly associated with friend or friendship. But I love that imagery. I love that sentiment, like that this is like, it's like something he did with tenacity.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, that's awesome. But then Dumbledore does go on to explain, and this is the part that I'm surprised doesn't resonate with more students. And maybe it just speaks to the fact that not everybody has like the same relationship with Dumbledore that like the main characters do.
Yeah.
And in fact, we know they don't. But he says, the Ministry of Magic does not wish me to tell you this. It is possible that some of your parents will be horrified that I have done so, either because they will not believe that Lord Voldemort has returned, or because they think I should not tell you, so young as you are. And it's like, it's remarkable that like Seamus's family, like Seamus lives with Harry,
right,
for the better part of 10 months a year.
Yeah, most of the time,
yeah. And it's like I'm just blown away that this is not something that like it's like like Seamus doesn't go to his mom and even say like, well, Dumbledore even said like that the Ministry probably doesn't want us to know this, and like I don't know, like. But I think he was kind of straight shooting up there.
I mean, absolutely. It's hard to believe they don't take it a little bit more seriously. But I mean, you can almost imagine, like, I don't know. It's like, it always feels like everyone you run into in the books is like, Dumbledore's the greatest wizard or whatever. But it's like, maybe that isn't the sentiment of every single person. They're just sort of like, yeah, Dumbledore is like a pretty good wizard.
I mean, he's their headmaster at the end of the day. So it's like, you even if you see him or can know he's like a highly respected individual, it's like he's still sort of this figurehead in an environment that, as many high schools do, just invites its amount of rebellion, whatever. So it's like, not always are you going to like look to your teachers as like the people who you're going to take everything.
Like I'm trying to think like if it was just like the last day of the year and like, whatever, like ninth grade or something, and there was an assembly and your principal came out and was just spat a bunch of political things at you, would you go home and be like, well, my principal said?
Exactly. You're right. Yeah. And it's like, I think it's a very good example. So then if your parents are sort of like, well, that sounds like a whole bunch of malarkey.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, yeah, it probably was, wasn't it?
Right. Like, are you more likely to like listen to them in that situation or go home and be like, listen to what your parents said? It was like, oh my God, of course, of course Dumbledore said that, but like that, don't listen to Dumbledore, listen to me.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. But then we get another good line from Dumbledore. It says, "It is my belief, however, that the truth is generally preferable to lies," which I have a hard agreement on. I think that's a really great sentiment. And that any attempt to pretend that Cedric died as a result of an accident or some sort of blunder of his own is an insult to his memory.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Everyone just is like so okay with just sort of like, yeah, Cedric's dead. We are sad about that. We're not that curious about the details.
Yeah, it's like,
No.
you know what probably, I mean,
Feels-
Acromantula, blasted and Scrooge.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say? It would have been nice to see what was going on in there, but I don't know.
But none of us know.
The hedges.
None of us know. Well, we didn't even realize that they had been missing for, like a solid 35 minutes
I know,
while
yeah,
Harry was
we were sitting
apparently
there.
off in Little Hangleton.
Playing gobstones and Harry came back. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, did he win? Cool.
Cool. Oh my God, is that Cedric?
Why is he sleeping?
Oh no.
Yeah.
My boy.
Over at the Slytherin table, Harry saw Draco Malfoy muttering something to Crabbe and Goyle. Harry felt a hot, sick swoop of anger in his stomach. He forced himself to look back at Dumbledore. I'm impressed that he's been able to divert his gaze. I'd be like, I would jinx him right there.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Dumbledore, I feel like maybe he could have warned Harry here. And he's like, I do need to mention somebody else. Harry Potter. Harry's like, what? You just told everyone not to talk to me. No, you're Dumbledore. You're throwing me under the invisible horse carriage here. I'm talking, of course, about Harry Potter. Harry's like, oh God, here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Harry Potter managed to escape Lord Voldemort. He risked his own life to return Cedric's body to Hogwarts. He showed in every respect the sort of bravery that few wizards have ever shown in facing Lord Voldemort. And for this, I honor him.
Yep.
Which honestly, that just that whole thing kind of gives me chills.
I know.
People just don't really talk like this.
I know. Oh, well, thank you. I guess. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Of course, everyone now is sort of more like it's not like Cedric where they're honestly toasting. Like some people are just sort of going through the motions.
Right.
And then you've got some of the Slytherins Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle over there. They don't even stand up. They are just defiantly in their seats. And then this is a weird, a dumb sentence. I think it says Dumbledore, who after all possessed no magical eye, did not see them. And I'm sure he saw them.
I wrote the exact same thing. I was like, I bet that he did. It's like, this is not the type of thing where Dumbledore is going to inside of this moment, he's not going to be like, hey, stand up.
Stand up.
Toast my favorite boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't see that particularly happening. So I don't think that this went over Dumbledore's head.
No.
I think he absolutely knows that they are in some amount of quiet protest of the situation. But then we kind of go on to get a lot of the underlying sentiment of the Triwizard Tournament, and it's basically to promote magical understanding, and that these international ties and friendship and everything are more important now than ever, which I think is just a generally great sentiment. Oh my gosh,
as well. I know. Yeah, I love this paragraph right here. It says, in the light of Lord Voldemort's return, we are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided. Lord Voldemort's gifts for spreading discord and enmity is very great. We can fight it only by showing an equally strong bond of friendship and trust. Differences of habit and language are nothing at all if our aims are identical and our hearts are open. It's I literally wrote under that, I try and remember that sentiment every day. It's because so often when you're having an argument with anyone about anything, it is you can sit there and try and be right and prove them wrong and have the moral high ground or whatever, or assume you do, or position yourself that way. But being right will never be the correct, you will never, it is better to build the bridge than it is to be right about that. Even if you feel you're you are correct, it's not yelling at someone that you're more right than they are is never going to yield a positive result, because eventually, inevitably, what will happen is that you will become addicted to the being rightness of it all, and you will even have to be right against people who already agree with you.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Yes. I think you're definitely right. And it's like it can make things unseated so very quickly. And honestly, the line that it reminds me the most of is another one of Dumbledore's when he's talking to Fudge in the very last chapter, where he's sort of like, I think Fudge says something like, "You're against me then." And he's like, and Dumbledore just is like, "I will be directing all of my efforts towards the defeat of Lord Voldemort. If you are with me in that, we stand on the same side."
Right.
And it's sort of like they end up having ultimately the same goal. Yeah, I'm going to read the exact line. "The only one whom I intend to work," said Dumbledore, "is Lord Voldemort. If you are against him, then we remain, Cornelius, on the same side." And it's like, I think this is where I think, it's like when we think about all of us as one, and I know we're kind of stepping outside of the lore right now. I'm probably just speaking more to ideals and values as humans.
Yeah.
But it's almost just sort of like if we can all just, and maybe it's the problem. It's like we just can't agree on what the goal is, but
Right.
it's kind of like if you could just think of the general goodness and care for all people as like the first thing we must do, and then work from there.
Right.
It seems like, I don't know. It's like, I'm working for the good of people. Can that just be the goal?
That's a goal.
Yeah.
Well, there's your goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as long as you work towards the good of people as well, then we are on the same side.
On the same side, man. Anyway,
Sorry for
we'll get back to the plot here.
Sorry for our TED Talk.
Yes. Thank you for coming. So then Dumbledore delivers like the end of his speech here. It says, "Remember, Cedric, remember if the time should come when you have to make a choice between what is right and what is easy. Remember what happened to a boy who was good and kind and brave because he strayed across the path of Lord Voldemort. Remember Cedric Diggory." And so many won't. They'll just sort of be like, "Nah, Voldemort's not back."
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to know really what lies at the hearts of all these people, where it's just sort of like, if you've been through so much, especially because like a lot of the parents of these kids would have been there at the heat of when it was its worst. If it's just like, I can't, my brain can't go back to that level of stress. So it's like, you're choosing to ignore the problem instead of address it. And so it's just kind of like swept under the rug. But you're right. It does. It's so shocking to me that this doesn't just like impact more of the students. Like, you would think even like if you went to Hogwarts, or if you were one of the Durmstrang or Beauxbaton students, you'd be like, "I saw it firsthand. It's real. It's bad."
Right.
Like, like it seems like that's the opportunity you have from having been there for this moment.
Right. It seems like it should be the takeaway, but a lot of people, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this. It's very interesting way. Then he's thinking about going back to Privet Drive, and he says he supposed it would be hot and leafy, its flower beds a riot of color when he arrived that evening. The thought gave him no pleasure at all. It's like, to him, like the idea of this like idyllic, flowery, colorful world that doesn't know about Voldemort is just like what it feels like. He's just like what ignorance, Yeah. Like, how dare the weather even be ignoring Voldemort's return?
It's true. It's true. And it's funny too, because like, it seems like we're going to have great weather for the rest of the chapter.
Yeah. It feels like his attitude has like a minor shift in it here going forward a little, maybe.
How do you
the
mean?
weather? I don't know. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Oh, okay. We'll get to it. We can get to it. Yeah.
Yes.
In the meantime, though, we do have a couple of brief exchanges that we do need to close out the story with, of course, which is with Fleur Delacour and Victor Crumb. Fleur comes first, and she comes over with, "Harry, we will see each other again, I hope. I am open to get a job here to improve my English."
Yeah. And she does.
And she does, yes. And then Ron chimes in, "It's very good already." And Hermione scowled. And I love this because it's like the dichotomy in the way that like Hermione feels towards Fleur and Ron feels towards Crumb is like, it's like so funny that the two other champions are dividing them in such specific ways.
Well, what's funny is that like, I think Ron comes out ahead in this situation, because Ron is like, he's talking to Fleur here, and Hermione is just like scoffing. But then Crumb's going to come talk to Hermione, and Ron is going to be like, "Can I have your autograph?"
You're right.
Yeah.
He's
like, he bridges the gap.
right. Yeah. Ron's made a little bit of progress there.
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, so Fleur turns and goes. "It's been a pleasure meeting you." Harry's spirits couldn't help but lift slightly as he watched Fleur hurry back across the lawns towards Madame Maxime.
How I like it when they walk. I was like, now wait wait a second here. Is this Vela magic or is this some flower pot action happening?
Some flower pot action.
You know?
Well, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. I mean, she went all the way out of her way to come and say goodbye to Harry. No one else.
No one else. Yeah. Spirits lifted as he watched Fleur hurry back. And she was like, it was great meeting you. And he's like, that did make me feel better. You know
what? It did. Yeah, like,
wow, that girl is very pretty. Wow.
Right, yeah, I'm starting to notice it, Ron. I see what you're I see what you're on about. But then Ron chimes in. He's like, wonder how the Durmstrang students are getting back. Do you reckon they can steer the ship without Karkaroff? And then Crumb is sort of like, Karkaroff did not steer. He stayed in his cabin and let us do the work.
Yeah. Crumb hates Karkaroff.
He super does.
He does. You get the feeling that maybe he hated him the whole time.
I think so. Yeah. He definitely I am almost disappointed because we do get more Fleur going forward. I'm almost disappointed we don't get more Crumb.
Oh no.
Like, it's not like a good way to have kept him in the fold or had him fight at the Battle of Hogwarts or something.
But most of Crumb's like until we see him again in Deathly Hallows, it's just sort of going to be like the fact that him and Hermione did exchange letters, or like the idea of Crumb will like continue to bother Ron.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But so Crumb obviously does come over and says, could I have a word from Hermione? And Hermione's like, oh, yes. All right.
Right. Yes. And then Ron is like, hey, what you guys doing? You need me to come?
You better hurry up, Ron called loudly after the carriages will be here in just a minute. And it does seem like they return quite soon. Ron stared at Hermione, but her face was quite impassive. I do like the way that Crumb brings up Cedric to Harry and says, I liked Diggory. He was always polite to me, always, even though I was from Durmstrang with Cockroft.
It's like even Crumb, it's like he has like no illusions about Durmstrang or anything. Or delusions. No. He's like, it is, like I go there, but like it's not great.
It's not great. No, yeah. I mean, and it's what we'll learn also as well in Deathly Hallows, when he's upset with Xenophilius Lovegood for wearing the symbol of the Deathly Hallows, because he's like, when I was at Durmstrang, it was like carved into the wall. Like I think his grandparents possibly were either attacked or killed by by his regime, and so it's like I don't think that Crumb has any affinity for dark magic. At all. Yeah. Then
Harry's like, have you got a new headmaster yet? And I'm like, Harry, he definitely is about to graduate. Makes no difference.
It makes no difference. I think he was already 18.
I know.
It was a little surprising he's been here in the first place.
He's like, bro, I'm going to be playing Quidditch. I don't like whatever. I'm not going back to that school.
I'm not going back there.
I'm gonna see if I can transfer here. You guys got a certain girl I want to keep seeing.
I was gonna say.
Might do my graduate school program here at Hogwarts.
Hogwarts University.
Yeah.
I love it. He gets his master's degree.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, let's see here. Ron looked as though he was suffering some sort of painful internal struggle, and you can only imagine where it's sort of like his jealousy towards Crumb has been triumphing over his kind of fanboy nature over him as a Quidditch star.
Yeah.
And finally the fanboy nature wins out and says, can I have your autograph? And Hermione turns away smiling.
I mean, this is absolutely the right call though. It is like, it is, I think it is so much less about the fanboy and it's so much more about like making amends with Hermione.
Oh, sure.
More than anything. And it's just like this is the right thing to do. If I really like her, this is the right thing to do,
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's even funny from Crumb's perspective, because you can only imagine that Crumb is like maybe I could imagine, he was worried about Harry, so I can imagine he also was probably at least somewhat jealous of Ron being so close to Hermione all the time.
Yeah.
And Ron's been like a little surly towards him as well, especially going back to the Yule Ball. So I can even imagine if you're Crumb in this situation, it's like, okay, he did like me after all.
Yeah, cool.
All's good. He knows I'm famous.
Yeah. Then this is another what feels like mistake. It says Hermione turned away, smiling at the horseless carriages, and I'm like, well, not exactly horseless. All right, we saw some people die, or you know what? We didn't see anyone die. Harry didn't see anyone die with his eyes.
Do you mean because the eyes closed situation?
Because the eyes were closed. And yet, that will be the reason he can see the Thestrals the next year. So either it does count or it doesn't, but I feel like it should count here.
I know.
It should count here.
It seems like the moment has come.
The moment has come.
Yeah. And I don't know if like maybe what we're getting is like like Hermione turned towards the horseless carriages, and it's like, I guess as far as like Hermione is concerned, they are horseless carriages.
Yeah, well, maybe. It does seem, regardless, it does seem like Harry shouldn't be surprised when he sees them next year, though.
Yeah, no, I follow you completely. I mean, it's like, in my heart of hearts, I think Thestrals haven't been invented yet.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I mean, it's not usually my favorite explanation because I normally, it's like there are no plot holes. It's just opportunities.
Just opportunities. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Harry hadn't processed the death yet. Therefore, it doesn't count.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we're at.
Anyway, yeah.
As
in case you're wondering why there's horseless carriages and there should be Thestrals.
That's
whatever.
I guess that's it. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is where we get to what we were talking about earlier with the weather. So they're on the train, and it says, the weather could not have been more different on the journey back to King's Cross than it had been on their way to Hogwarts the previous September. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky at all. And like they have, like they're going to play Exploding Snap, and Harry's going to be like, having a good time here. And weirdly, I'm going to use an example from Name of the Wind here. Okay. So I think this is a good, like in Name of the Wind, there is a creature called the Cathay, and it is a dangerous creature because if it talks to you, it can see every possible future. So, or that's what we're told. So, if you talk to it, its goal is to say the things to you that will cause the most amount of harm for the entire world after you've talked to it. Right. And
because it can see everything, it's like it knows exactly what to say to you.
Exactly what to say to you because it knows how you're going to respond.
Right.
And so, like, when you find out that the main character has talked to it, it has this massive effect on another character who's like, everything I'm doing is pointless. You've talked to Cathay. That means everything I'm telling you is part of what it knew would happen, and everything is bad now.
Right.
But another character comes up to him and he's just like, look, he can't make literally everything bad. He can't make you not be friends. He can't take away the taste of like apple pie or whatever.
Right.
It's like some things could be worse, but he can't literally make every single thing in the world bad. And I feel like that is what this is an example of. It's like Voldemort's back, but he can't take away a bright sunny day,
Right.
Like he can make things bad, but the sun's still going to shine. Like some things will still be good.
I think that's a very good point. Yeah, because it's, and I think it's almost sort of like you need to get that like kind of gentle, very passive reminder through the setting of the story that it's sort of like it's exactly that.
Yes.
Like it's like something's good can still happen. You're about to have fun with your friends. You're about to stand up to the bullies. You're about to play games. You're about to do a nice thing for someone. Like all of those things are about to happen in the pages to come.
Yes, and I can already hear you guys saying actually Voldemort can take away the weather because of the Dementors, and it's like yes, I guess you're right, but that's not really the point.
Understand what I mean now.
Hear what I mean, okay?
Yeah. Our dad used to say that to us all the time when we were kids, when we were being rambunctious.
Yeah, we'd be like kind of a smart aleck.
Yeah. Let's see here. This is also something I think is very interesting. It says Harry, Ron, and Hermione talked more fully and freely than they had all week as the train sped them southward. Harry felt as though Dumbledore's speech at the leaving feast had unblocked him somehow. And this is interesting because we've talked a lot over the past couple of chapters about how Dumbledore sort of like resembles or is similar to a phoenix. Mm-hmm. And so in some ways, like I almost feel like Dumbledore's speech was like Phoenix song.
A little bit.
Like it's almost like the same thing as like when Fawkes lands and Harry like doesn't really want to like relive everything that happened for Dumbledore. Like Fawkes like lets out like a single quavering note that like fills him like with enough strength to get through it.
Yeah.
And here's a situation where like Dumbledore has basically spoken, and through that speaking, it's like kind of giving him that extra strength again.
Yeah. It also just reminds me of sometimes what it's like going to therapy.
Also true.
It's just like someone like gives you permission to feel that way, or it'd be like it's okay to like let it out, or like validates the way you're feeling, and then it's like easier to talk about somehow. So it's it reminds me of that as well. Although I just go mental health, take care of it.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of side hustles on this episode.
That's easy.
My hustles. This is not sponsored.
but therapy is good.
Just therapy in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, when Hermione returned from the trolley and put her money back into her school bag, this is after getting some lunch, she dislodged a copy of the Daily Prophet that she'd been carrying in there. Again, this is a situation where I feel like great lengths are being gone to set up a scenario where somebody can ask about the Daily Prophet so that Hermione can finally reveal that she has Rita Skeeter caught in a jar.
Yeah.
Harry looked at it, unsure whether he really wanted to know what it might say. But Hermione, seeing him look at it, said calmly, "There's nothing in there. You could look for yourself.
Yeah.
There's nothing at all. I've been checking every day."
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, why are you talking about it, Hermione?
What are you talking about? Why it's so weird? Yeah, just a small. She says just a small piece the day after the third task saying you won the tournament. That didn't even mention Cedric, which to me is crazy.
It is,
and
absolutely.
They didn't announce that a student died.
Right. It's
like, are you kidding?
Even without Rita Skeeter, there is some reporter who knows that this is an important enough thing to tell the public about.
Yeah. Yes. But obviously what's happening, they say, is that Fudge is forcing them to keep quiet, which is just like, this is, like so much of Order of the Phoenix is about how the Ministry of Magic is just a very corrupt place.
Yeah.
In general. Like, and like, when you think about it, it is so corrupt in some ways. It's like you think of the Ministry of Magic as this sort of like, yeah, we're just this little governing body that's trying to keep the Wizarding World a secret. But it's like you have the Minister of Magic, right? But like the Minister of Magic in the Wizarding World is also the head of the Wismagot, or is like the guy, he like acts as judge, Well,
it's a position that I think Dumbledore had previously occupied.
I suppose so.
And he's like forced to step away. So maybe
to step away by who? Fudge?
By Fudge.
By Fudge.
Yeah.
So there's that. Fudge installs himself as the head of that branch of government. So like there's just no checks and balances in the Wizarding world at all.
There's not.
Not only is Fudge basically acting as the executive branch, he also then appoints himself head of the judicial branch and then is passing laws on a whim, which basically makes him the head of the legislative branch's government as well.
Right.
And like, there's no checks and balances on him whatsoever. Not only that, he can literally lean on the Daily Prophet and tell them not to print stuff he doesn't like, which is like if you're in America, at least, like we have like freedom of press, like that's super duper illegal. You cannot do that. That's like in the Bill of Rights. It's like one of our founding sentiments. And it's just like, it's just all so bad.
It is.
Yep. Like it's effectively just like a dictatorship. What's happening?
It's not great.
It's not good.
It's not great. But so then you get the line that we've talked about so much from Harry, who says he'll never keep Rita quiet, not in a story like this. And it's sort of like, you're right, Harry. Unfortunately, someone in your cabin currently has her prisoner.
Yes, I know. Oh boy.
Not that I'm a Rita Skeeter sympathizer or anything like that, but there is the outside chance that because Rita was present for the entire exchange between Dumbledore and Cornelius Fudge and Snape revealing the Dark Mark and all of those various other things, that if she was forceful enough as a journalist to make sure that story was told, then actually she would be contributing to a cause that would align with Harry, Ron, and Hermione's position.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yes. A little unfortunate there, but I think we made a video about it, and I think we determined that even if she'd written it, it wouldn't end up making the difference you think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So.
But
anyway,
yeah, so we find out but what is crazy to me is that we found out, yes, that she's an animagus. She can turn into a beetle. And then Hermione produces the jar with Rita Skeeter in it, which to me is just the most unhinged thing Hermione does in all 7 books. Hands down, the worst thing. I mean, she is just casually imprisoning a grown witch in a jar.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's fun.
Breaking the rules.
Who
are you and what have you done with Hermione?
Yeah, it's like I've put an unbreakable charm on the jar so she can't transform. It's like, yes, Rita Skeeter sucks, but this does feel a little extreme.
It feels pretty intense. And it's interesting because I do like that Ron, like a couple of times, is sort of like, no. And he says, "You're kidding. You haven't. She's not. Oh, yes, she is.
Yeah.
That's never. You're kidding." Hermione's like, nope.
Yeah.
So we find out that basically that evening where Fudge is in the hospital wing, there's the scene where Hermione like claps her hands together and like breaks the moment between Molly and Harry, who are hugging at the time. And she's like, sorry. But it's like what she's just done is caught Rita Skeeter.
And they put her in a jar for a week.
Yeah. But then the thing that I also find to be unbelievable is that Harry looks at it and he also remembered something. There was a beetle on the statue the night that we heard Hagrid telling Madame Maxine about his mum. And I'm sort of like, that is just an insane detail for you to like, detail.
Exactly. Yes. This is absolutely just for the benefit of the reader to be like, hey, look, all the clues were there.
Right. Yeah. Think of 6 months ago. Think of the bug that was there.
Yeah.
Can you?
Can
What did you have for lunch 3 weeks ago? Can you tell me that?
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Hermione also remembers like, and there was a water beetle in my hair. And I bet she was buzzing around. So, I mean, it's a pretty good animagus form.
Right. Then the other thing I find to be kind of interesting is that, like, when we saw Malfoy under that tree, said Ron slowly, he was talking to her and his hands at Hermione. He knew, of course. And I'm like, this was a major liability on the part of Rita Skeeter. Like, her whole livelihood as this, like, you know, invasive reporter basically relies on this very secret, on this disguise. Like, you know, it's like Draco might be on your side today, but you're not on Draco's side inherently.
I know.
You just happen to be like creating propaganda against Harry.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point in time, it's like, I don't know that I would have revealed that to the Malfoys.
I know. Like, I mean, I suppose she can threaten them back and be like, oh, I know things about Lucius Malfoy that would make you all, you know, skin curl or whatever.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. That's also possibly true.
Yeah. But you're right. And it's like Draco is awful bold to even do this because he's watched, like, if he's paying attention, and we know he is, to articles about Harry, you know, he's got his whole press clippings book where, you know, his scrapbook of Harry articles and stuff.
Right.
You know, like, he has watched the beginning of the year where Rita Skeeter was all like, Harry Potter is the greatest person in the world. Oh my gosh, Hermione Granger beating up Harry, poor sweet Harry Potter. Like, he has watched Rita Skeeter do a 180 on Harry this year. And it's like, right now she's writing good things about you, Draco, but like it's just going to take one false turn, you know?
They'll do it for you. They'll do it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Rita has like no allegiances.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the other kind of thing I think is remarkable here in this scene is that Hermione is putting the jar away, and then Draco opens the cabin door and says, "Very clever, Granger."
Eavesdropping as usual.
As usual. It's like, does he have like his own extendable ears? Like, what's going on?
He's just roaming the hallways. He's just like, oh my God, it's Harry's. It's quick. I'm going to get on my journal and write down everything he says. Dear journal, Harry said this today.
Train, 3:15 p.m.
3:15 p.m.
I have my ear to the floor.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Yeah, so he even comes in and says, you caught some pathetic reporter and Potter's Dumbledore's favorite boy again. Big deal.
Big deal. Also, favorite boy again. I was like, first of all, that never changed.
It never changed.
Like, when does it not a favorite boy?
If anything, next year, it's going to be like in question. Like,
exactly. Right?
But that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's like trying to pretend it hasn't happened yet. And it's like, dude, are you listening or not? No, that's not what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. Harry's like, get out.
Yeah.
And this is where Draco brings up that first conversation that he had on the train on the way to Hogwarts, where he's just basically like, I told you not to hang around with riffraff like this.
I told you.
Yeah. It's too late now, Potter. They'll be the first to go when the Dark Lord's back. Mudblood and Muggle was first. Well, second. Diggory was the... and it's like, he was about to say Diggory was the first.
Yeah. But he doesn't get to. Man, I can't wait to see who gets this page of mine, because I have sworn on the page.
No. Yeah. Which one? What's it start with?
Here, I'll just show it to you. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What a good one. Yeah, I was just like, wow, dude, I cannot believe you went there. Like,
I know. I was like, dude.
Even for you, that's low.
It is, even for Draco. So, man.
Yeah, but at that very moment, it was like he definitely like went too far. And I think this is the moment where if you're Harry, Ron, and Hermione, you just sort of know, like, nobody's going to be mad at me for doing this. Like, what he said went too far. It's like that he is justifiably been attacked for the things that he said. So everybody pulls out their wand. They all attacks him all at the same time, and Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle are all lying unconscious in the doorway.
Yeah, just all having a bunch of weird combination of hexes. Turns out Fred and George joined in on the fun as well. They were, casually just thought we'd see what you three were up to. Matter of factly, making sure to stepping onto Goyle into the compartment.
Yep.
Yeah. And then a fun trivia question here. What two spells did Crabbe get hit with? It's the Furnunculus Curse and the Jelly Legs Curse.
Yes. And the other one I think is interesting is who all attacks them, because in my mind I was like, where's Ginny?
Yeah.
Isn't she supposed to be doing like her Bat Bogey hex or whatever? But it's like, I guess that hasn't really come into the fold yet.
Or they kind of turn into like a pile of ooze or something.
Something like that. Yeah. I do love this line. Well, let's not leave them here. They don't add much to the decor.
Yeah.
Nice.
They sure don't.
So they kick, roll, and push the unconscious Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle, each of whom looked distinctly worse for the jumble of jinxes from which they had been hit.
There's really no surprise that Malfoy just stomps on Harry's face and breaks his nose at one point.
In the train.
Yeah. In the train.
Lots of antics happening in this train.
Definitely.
Yep. And then Fred, as if nothing happened, is like, exploding snap, anyone? They were halfway through their fifth game when Harry decided to ask them. You want to tell us then, he said to George, who you were blackmailing? So it's funny, he targeted George. He's like, I know Fred's not going to tell me. George,
right.
You tell me.
Yeah. Because George is the one who was like, I'm telling you, you put that in that letter. That's blackmail.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, said George darkly. That.
Yes, that.
Right. It doesn't matter, said Fred, shaking his head impatiently. It wasn't anything important. Not now, anyway.
It's kind of important.
Well, it's kind of important, but I also really like the priorities. Like, I think that this is like one of those things where like Fred and George are sort of like looking at, it's very classic Weasley in my mind, where it's like, this is like a goodness to them, where it's sort of like they had their ambitions, they had their goals. It was like the most important thing to them, but they easily recognize, for one, they fully intend to join the Order of the Phoenix, and they do.
Yeah.
And they both suffer major casualty. Fred dies and George loses an ear in the process. So like there's all that. So like I think from their perspective, it's like, well, now there's more important things than the joke shop.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Little do they know that Harry's going to be like, hey, you want to know the best way to fight Voldemort? Laughter. Yeah.
Yes. So we finally get the conclusion, though, as to what the heck Ludo Bagman has been up to for the entire year. It's just like the world's most gigantic red herring character of all time.
Yes.
And so, they say it was Ludo Bagman. And Harry's like, Bagman? Are you saying he was involved in? And George's like, nah, nothing like that. Stupid git. He wouldn't have the brains. Well, what then? And then we basically get the explanation that the bet from the Quidditch World Cup with the 37 galleons, 15 sickles, and 3 cadets.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Plus a trick wand.
Yeah.
Basically did not actually yield a payout and instead was paid in the form of leprechaun gold.
Yes.
Which disappeared by the following morning.
Yes. And he says he ran into some goblins in the woods and they took all the gold he did have. And if you will recall, back in that chapter, we actually saw those goblins in the woods counting said gold. And like Harry, Ron, and Hermione go past them, and then they run into Ludo Bagman, who's looking very nervous. And you think he's looking nervous because of the Death Eaters, but he doesn't even know about them yet.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. All those things. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, so here's our neat bow where everything's being tied up really well. But yeah, so the other thing I think is really strange about this situation, though, is that what Fred and George are going to ultimately explain is that he has had a bunch of trouble with gambling, and he's in big trouble with the goblins, borrowed loads of gold off of them. And what's interesting is like a gang of them cornered him in the woods after the World Cup and took all the gold he had. It still wasn't enough to cover his debts. But then he tries to basically make his money back by putting a bet on Harry to win the Triwizard Tournament. But I'm also like, why on earth would the goblins even accept this bet in the first place?
Right. He already can't pay them back. And now he's saying like, okay. But listen here. Make this bet with me, and I will maybe have to owe you even more money, huh? And they're like, yeah, but you can't pay us the money you do owe us.
Exactly. It's like you don't go double or nothing with someone who doesn't have the first amount.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like before it's been doubled. And then here's like
double or nothing is for the people who would be winning.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But yes. And But then Harry kind of points out, he's like, well, I did win, didn't I? And this is where we start to learn a little bit about like the ways in which goblins operate, which is something that Bill is going to bring up later in Deathly Hallows. And it's kind of like the agreement that they ultimately make with Griphook, where Griphook's sort of like, well, I told you I'd get you into the vault. I never said anything about getting out of it.
Right.
And it's sort of like, oh,
yeah, you got to be very, very clear. Although I feel like the fact that he says that what they're saying here is that like they say Bagman bet that you'd win outright, and the goblins say you tied with Diggory. It's like, I feel like regular, like even if you were just on like DraftKings or something, like that would be a delineation that mattered.
No, it absolutely would be.
Yeah.
Like this, we don't really need to hold this against the goblins in this particular case, because you're exactly right. A tie is absolutely different from an outright win.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of thing that it's like, you know, if anything, if it was any other like major sport, they would have just like had like Cedric and Harry like duel it out or something.
Right.
Like, see who wins or see who can light a fire the fastest or something.
Yeah. Survivor rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. There's also I was going to say it. I had it. I lost it. Okay. Whatever.
God, you had me so concerned that all of our recording devices had turned off.
Oh, no. That's all good. All the recording devices are good. I just lost my train of thought, my Hogwarts Express of thought, as it were.
Nice. I love it. So anyway, they finally make it to King's Cross Station. Mouthful of Crab and Goyle are still just sort of like lumps outside of their their cart there. But Harry, however, stays back, and I really love this part. Fred, George, wait a moment. And the twins turned. Harry pulled open his trunk and drew out his Triwizard winnings. Take it, he said. What? Said Fred, looking flabbergasted. Take it, Harry repeated firmly. I don't want it. You're mental. No, I'm not. You take it and get inventing. It's for the joke shop. He is mental, Fred said in an almost awed voice. I love the awed voice because it's sort of like it's like Fred is sort of like, wow, he is crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like respect.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And I think this is where like Harry really has the measure of Voldemort rather unknowingly in this moment, because he's saying like, you know, listen, I don't want it, but it's like, you know, what the world needs right now is a few laughs. And I got a feeling we're going to need more than usual before long. And it's like, this is the exact, it's how you fight the Dementors, you know, is through laughter.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's the best way to fight darkness is through joy and happiness and that type of thing. So I do like the fact that like very inadvertently, Harry is like almost like contributing to a cause that will actively be like at least somewhat working against Voldemort's efforts.
Absolutely. And I love that, you know, it's such a good reward too, because like the twins the whole year have been trying to get their money back, or they're trying to get these winnings. They made this crazy bet. It paid off. But even if Bagman had just paid them outright the actual amount they were due, they would, because he gave them 10-1 odds on it. So they would have made back like 370 galleons.
Right.
And so now, like, instead of making 10 times the amount they had, Harry effectively gives them like 30 times the amount.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. Three times what their winnings probably would have been, or maybe like once you account for the sickles and the
sickles and the
triplons.
nuts and all that. Whatever,
Yeah. Maybe double at least. But either way, it's pretty amazing. And then I kind of like this moment from George where it's like, I feel like he's almost got to be like playing a little ignorant or something. He's like, Harry, there's got to be 1,000 galleons in here. And it's like, yeah,
you think
that's the prize.
These
money.
are the winnings, right?
Yeah.
This isn't just like money I have.
Right. You knew that.
Right.
You knew that.
You didn't
was
think
the prize.
I was just like, hey, here's 1,000 galleons.
Right. Yes. The twins stared at him. Just don't tell. And it says your mom where you got it, but I crossed out your and wrote our.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yes. Very solid. Very solid.
Just don't tell our mom when we got it.
Yeah. And then I love the stipulation. It's like, here's the only thing is you have to buy Ron different dress robes and say they're from you. But what a day that must have been. Like, hey, Ron, get in here. We bought you something. What? It's just dress robes. You really embarrassed us at the Yule Ball.
These are from us.
People told us they knew we were related, and oh boy.
We wanted to be next door neighbors.
Yeah, we wanted to be next door neighbors in that situation.
Let's see here. So then, so the Fred and George do accept it, and it will be the money that they do use to go on and seed the store. They finally make it to back to King's Cross Station, where Uncle Vernon was waiting beyond the barrier. Mrs. Weasley was close by him, and I like to think that underneath her robe, she has her wand pointed right at Uncle Vernon.
I think she's just got her eyes squinted, and she's just like, I don't think you're very much Vernon Dursley.
I tried to keep him, and Dumbledore said,
"You better take good care of my boy."
Right. And then she hugs Harry very tightly in front of Uncle Vernon, and I like to imagine she's like, "See, this is how you're supposed to care for children."
See,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. Then Hermione comes up, says, "Bye, Harry," and she did something she had never done before and kissed him on the cheek. Well, Hermione action, you know.
Did she kiss her on the cheek?
She kissed her on the cheek. Doesn't say.
It's
Doesn't
weird.
sound like it.
It's strange. It's not.
As far as I can tell, Hermione's kissed 2 other boys in this chapter, and you know what I'm saying? And one of them wasn't Ron.
One of them wasn't Ron. That's true. Yeah, let's see here. Harry winks at Fred and George as they walk off, turns to Uncle Vernon and followed him silently from the station. There was no point worrying yet, he told himself, as he got in the back of the Dursleys' car. As Hagrid had said, what would come, and he would have to meet it when it did.
Oh, and boy, will he ever. My goodness.
Goodness gracious. And that brings us to the end of not just chapter 37, but Goblet of Fire, the book.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It feels like we've been in Goblet Fire like forever, and also not at all.
Not at all. You know, I know. Yeah.
It just flew by.
One of the things that I do, actually, I can tell you but I must have not done it on the first chapter of this book, because one of the things that I do on almost every chapter is I will write the day that I read it. So at the very least for chapter 2, I have written read on September 29th, 2024.
Oh, okay. Well, I bet I can almost guarantee you read the first chapter on September 28th, 2024, because that's when I read it.
There you go. Yep.
And it says live in San Diego. Woo!
So unbelievable that this much has happened since we've gone on multiple tours since we started this, which has been so much fun. I also wrote, as you guys all know, if you sign up for an annual membership, you do get a page from one of our books. Goblet of Fire definitely has the most notes I've ever put in any of my books, but I did write a special note to whoever ends up getting the very last page, which you can see here, but I'm not going to show you too much because I don't want you to be able to read it from afar. What if it's mushy or something? That would be
what if it's mushy or if it's got swear words on it?
Right. So if you'd like to check that out and sign up for an annual membership and get a page from one of our books, you can do so at patreon.com/throughthegryffindor. And yeah, like it doesn't matter which tier, any of them at the annual level will get you that access. But at the $10 tier, you get access to the Owlry, where at the end of each week, Jay and I also answer a question written to us by one of you guys. And so if you watch the show on YouTube, you will actually see some of the letters that have been handwritten by Isabel, the editor, and at least one by me. And they are all from you guys and delivered to us by our lovely owl, Gumpine, who also goes on tour with us.
Yes.
So if you're looking to come on tour and see Gumpine in real life, we bring the official Gumpine with us. So just sort of some fun community-based things for you to keep in the backs of your mind there. But before we close out, and speaking of community-based things, Jay, do you have a review for us?
I do. I will also mention that we were sort of at the anniversary of the launch of the Patreon. So when a lot of people signed up initially for that membership membership to get a page from one of our books, a huge majority of you that clock has just ticked over into the next year.
Yes.
So if you got a page for the first one, be on the lookout because you're now entitled to a second page.
Page number 2.
Page number 2. And yeah, now that it's August, we can start sending them out again.
That's exactly right. Now that we finished Goblet of Fire, we can go cut the spines off these books.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man, it's gonna be a good one. There's so many. Yeah, I feel like the more we do it, the more notes I write. And so like every page is just loaded with all sorts of goodness. But I do have a review for us today. Let me pull it up here. Today's review comes from Matsunami. And they say, love listening while cleaning. Huge fan of all you guys' work. I was talking with my wife about muggles in the wizarding world. Do you think they can use magical artifacts like the Deathly Hallows or the mirror? Can they drink potions, use a time turner? I have so many thoughts about how they fit into the world. Love the show. Keep it up.
So my initial knee-jerk reaction is no, But I think we need to like workshop it a little bit, because I think the idea of a magical artifact is that the magic has been like imbibed into it.
Yeah.
And therefore the user is not like demonstrating magic, like potions, for example. Like potions is not just merely adding the ingredients together. There is wand work.
Muggles cannot make potions, but they could take potions.
So they could take potions. Okay.
Right.
So in that case, maybe I amend my previous thought. Like if Harry were to take his invisibility cloak and throw it on Dudley, would Dudley disappear?
Absolutely.
Okay. In that case, then I think it would work.
Okay. Yes. I think that's right. Like, I think because this is like there's a couple of examples you can point to immediately. Like, for example, like Merope Gaunt uses a love potion on Tom Riddle.
That's a very good point.
It works.
So we know that works.
Queenie uses one on Jacob in Fantastic Beasts.
Dudley eats the Tung Toffee.
Does what it's supposed to. Then you even have like more. There's a lot of Fantastic Beasts stuff just because you spend so much time with Jacob. But like Newt makes a like medicinal like remedy out of a bunch of magical stuff after Jacob gets bit by the thing in the apartment.
Yes, you're right.
He applies that to him, and Jacob also takes the port key with Newt.
He does. Yeah. So I don't see any reason why not. I mean, it's like it's one of those things where you would almost think that magical artifacts would have been discovered by the Muggle populace, and now I'm immediately thinking Founders again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like the villain in the villain of like a season maybe must like discover a magical artifact. And it's like, despite what is going to be an absolute hatred towards magic, is going to be using magic to fight magic.
Right.
And it's the type of thing that should have given the Founders the upper hand, but will ultimately like level the playing field a little.
Yeah. This is the plot of the first season of Wednesday, by the way.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. So maybe it's already been properly hashed out.
No, you can do it again. You know, I mean, I guess that is a story about a girl who goes to a school where there's 4 different classes of people, and then there's it's already drawing some Hogwarts inspiration on it.
That's right. We'll just draw it right back. Yeah, no problem.
Evermore is Hogwarts, guys. Come on. Yeah, it's all art imitates life, imitates life. Something. Circle. Everything's a circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think. What else was I gonna say about that? Oh, Arthur's job is basically this. Is like dealing with the Muggles who have found the magical artifacts.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, the misuse of Muggle artifacts office. So it's like, you know, you can't lose your keys because of magic if you can't experience magic.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Bless them.
Yeah. So I think for sure, like, it is interesting because it's like, you know. Like, is it just that they wouldn't come into contact with them? And I think for the most part, that is sort of the situation. Yeah. But it's like, you know, like if Hermione put the time turner around like her parents' neck, like would they travel through time? It's like, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah. What else would happen to them? Would they just like stay right
there?
Where they were?
Right,
and like Hermione would just like disappear?
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess is possible because like you could certainly witness magic happening. But
yeah. Well, the other thing that is like weird or could be interesting, it's like the Mirror of Eris said, like if a Muggle looked into it, would they see their heart's desire or would they just see themselves? You know?
Right. And that's an interesting one too, because it's like, it almost seems like the operator of the mirror, so to speak, the person looking into it, it's like, are they engaging in some type of magical behavior by using it, even if they're not really summoning any conscious magic to the table?
Yeah. It's like, I feel like the mirror would still work unless it's how like Muggles can't become ghosts, you know?
Right.
Like that's a thing. So it's like, you can take that in consideration. So unless the mirror operates using the same mechanics as whatever lets you like become a ghost, then I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Like I always forget the exact inscription, but I know that it's something like I show you not your reflection, but your heart's truest desire.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it uses the word heart rather than soul.
Right. Yes. Which makes me think it would work then.
Which makes me think it would work. Yeah. Because you can have a heart's truest desire, but like the magical soul is what feels like is like really, really differentiating.
Okay.
Because you can go ahead.
Okay. So then do you think this person is specifically asked by the Deathly Hallows. So obviously the Elder Wand would do nothing in the hands of a Muggle at all. the invisibility cloak would cover them, but could they use the resurrection stone? Does that interact with your soul?
Is the resurrection stone, is it interacting with your soul or the soul of the deceased person you're trying to retrieve? Because
no, I don't think that matters.
No,
because Frank Bryce comes out of the wand.
It does come out of the wand. You're right.
Well, it's whether you think that the echoes that come out of Priori and Cantatum are the same. I've always thought they were kind of the same as the resurrection stone.
You're right. I mean, there's a lot of phrasing that seems to go into things, and then we eventually get introduced to the veil at the Department of Mysteries, where it's like the usage or the choice of the word veil is specific to the description we get of the second brother bringing back his fiance effectively. And it's like as though she was like behind a veil. And I've always sort of assumed that like those two things were synonymous directly. Like it's like they still live on the other side of the veil of death.
Yeah. But the veil would kill a muggle.
The veil would kill a muggle.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think the resurrection stone would work for a muggle because you don't have to enact magic. You just have to flip the stone over a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for the most part, most magical artifacts would work for muggles, like the Deluminator or something. I don't see why that wouldn't
still do.
Like that would still put the lights out. You couldn't do the teleporting thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too because we do talk a lot about our other favorite fantasy series, which is called The Name of the Wind. But there is a oh my goodness, and I know what's going to clean out of my brain as I'm saying it out loud. What is the process that Quoth goes through when he's creating like a magical object in that series where he's like making it out of metal?
Oh God, if you hadn't asked me, I know with Master Kelvin.
Yes.
My God, it's like the name of a whole class. It's a whole field. So this would be like forgetting Transfiguration.
It would be
or something.
It's like this is pure silliness that we can't think of it.
I know.
Anyway, the rough way that it works is effectively you can artificing. Thank you for getting there. Oh my gosh, it was going to bother me knowing that this episode was going to go out. We didn't say it.
Yeah.
There's something called artificing, which basically is just taking the magic that the arcanists are capable of doing, which is effectively like writing in a form of like runes and combining it with a form of craftsmanship. But like if you combine all the runes in the right way, then the object will just continue to do its bidding. And then you can sell it to everyday people who are not arcanists. But in that particular capacity, being able to do magic is through intelligence and learning. And basically like practice.
Well, there's some like bindings. There's like some magic words.
There are magic words, but they're learnable things.
They're learnable things.
Like Quoth is not
anyone
like,
could technically do it.
Yes, like Quoth is not like a wizard, unlike how other people are muggles.
Right.
Like he just formerly was someone who didn't know how to do it and then learned how to do it.
Yes.
But then anybody who doesn't know how to do it can keep using the artifice object.
Yes. But then even inside of that, there are like extra magical objects like the warding stones or whatever.
Which
like,
are?
We don't know how they were made or where they came from. They're unique, and they have powerful properties, but we can't recreate them.
Yes.
But we can use them.
So anyway, just another.
That's just another reason to read Name of the Wind. Just go for it.
We can't ever recommend it enough times.
I know.
Yeah. So y'all, all of our recommendations. Read Name of the Wind. You want to check out our Patreon? You can do so at patreon.com/ through the Griffin door. Wrong show. My apologies. And last but certainly not least, we are of course going on tour in the Midwest in the month of September. To we have 8 shows that we're going to be doing out there. It is already far and away. I think it is coming up close on being 2 times as big as our last biggest tour.
Yes.
Which is just absolutely unbelievable. I don't know what it is going to be like to see that many of you in real life, but we desperately want to meet you in person. So if you'd like to come, be sure to go and check that out. Links in all of the obvious places.
Yes. Otherwise, that is going to do it for us today for this episode. Make sure you join us next week where we'll be doing our Dumbledore's Big Plan episode of Goblet of Fire. And then the week after that, we'll be right back in it to Book 5, Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 1, Dudley Demented, here on Through the Griffin Door.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.